AITA for storming out after Elle didn't like the birthday present Elle was given? 20F. Recently turned 20 and had a party to celebrate turning 20. It was a small gathering at my favorite sushi restaurant with only my immediate family and a few friends. Everything was going well until it came time for the presents. You see, in my family there's this tradition that when the firstborn turns 20, they are given this pocket watch that was owned by my great-grandfather when our country was still colonized by the British. My great-grandfather, was taken in by some missionaries and became a teacher. As a teacher he was super instrumental to the community and partly funded the first black-owned school there. He became headmaster and as thanks, the community chipped in to get him a pocket watch. When my grandfather turned 20 he was given the watch and it became a tradition. As per tradition, Elle was expecting to get the watch. I had even made an effort of hinting how Elle wanted a watch for the whole year prior. Among the presents Elle saw this small box and got excited thinking it was the watch. The watch came in this wooden casing with a velvet lining inside and it was about the same size as the box Elle saw. I made a deliberate choice to open that box last to make sure the night ended on a highlight. When it came time to opening the box, it was a watch but a digital one. It was a good watch to be honest, but it wasn't the watch. My dad was excited as he went on prattling about the features of the watch. It could count steps, connect to my phone via Bluetooth, control music, measure my heart rate, etc. While he talking, Elle burst into tears and left the table running. My dad follows and asks why Elle was sad and I said Elle wanted the watch. The one that belonged to my great-grandfather. He said he wanted to give it to my younger brother who is 12 since he is boy. If he gives it to me, it will leave the family since I'll get married to a man and join his family. This came as a blow since I've always been closer to my dad than my brother was and my brother isn't even interested in the watch like Elle have been my whole life. We got into an argument and it ended with him saying my immaturity over such a small matter is why he wouldn't have given the watch to me even if Elle was a boy. I left after he said that. That was 2 weeks ago. And we haven't spoken since. So am I the asshole? Edit. Information. It's always been the firstborn who got it. But the firstborns have always been men. Since the tradition started. I'm the first female firstborn. I suppose Elle shouldn't have stormed out. I'm 20 now after all. I was super overwhelmed by my feelings. I'm prone to tears. Always have been, but I should have calmed myself, especially since it was a public space. NTA. Your dad gave you a nice smartwatch as a replacement for the watch he knew you wanted. While I can see how some people might think you are crying over an Apple Watch face with rolling eyes, you were upset about not being a part of your family's tradition and being looked over for being a woman. I'm sure for any other occasion you would have been thrilled with this gift. NTA. It obvious isn't a small matter. Or your father wouldn't have been so desperate to bribe you with this other watch. Your father knew that you wanted the watch. And knew that you would be disappointed. He is blaming you for your reaction to his own sexist behavior, instead of taking responsibility for that behavior. NTA. They changed the laws in the UK to allow female heirs to inherit the throne. Not sure why your family still adheres to this tradition since women no longer marry out of the family. NTA. Your father should have told you about this sexist caveat years ago. Instead, he led you on for over a decade about how you will receive the family watch. Your dad and his enablers suck. NTA. I hate this notion that women leave their families when they get married. It's such sexist bullshit. I mean, you don't even have to take anyone's name. The only reason I took my husband's surname is because it was just so much prettier than mine. But I was not taken from my family or anything. What nonsense. Excluding you from this tradition for being a woman is super rude, and your father just shows clear favoritism. NTA. Your father is a sexist asshole who thinks you're an object to be traded rather than a family member. It's up to you what you do with that information. NTA. Your father is passing you over for an important family heirloom because you are not a boy. In other words, sexism. I do not blame you for being upset. NTA. Since he only considers you temporary family, why would you want his moldy old watch anyway? Give him back his digital watch too. It's a shame that you found out you're less important than some ability to carry on a bloodline or a name. NTA. The tradition is firstborn, not firstborn boy, right? NTA. You didn't get the watch because you're a girl. That's fucking gross. NTA. Your dad basically just told you that he'll not consider any future children of yours his real family. He is a sexist and horrible towards you. This isn't about a birthday gift. This is about being told you're not good enough based on your gender, and I completely understand your reaction and feelings. It is not okay to treat your child like this. NTA. Even while it's your father's choice who gets the watch, it's absolute understandable you feeling hurt. This is sexism, and it would have been best your dad made sure in the forehead he's not going to give it to you. His arguments are old but stupid. Your family. That doesn't change just because you get married. The family lives on your side. This whole argument is bullshit. What when you decide to keep your name but your brother take the name of his partner? Does the family then ends by your brother and live on by you? What's when he doesn't get married at all? When it's about the family living on, why he's arguing about you getting married and not about who's going to get own childs? And that, you don't get it because you're upset for not getting it, argument is so openly bullshit. I hope I don't have to point it out. Edit. So in the end, even when you're never going to get that watch in every scenario, it could been handled much better than this, but still would be hurtful to live a life of less value because of your gender. I hope you take your mom's maiden name when you get married. NTA. Your father is obviously sexist. What is wrong with you inheriting it and passing it down to your children when they turn 20? You clearly remember the history of the watch and how your grandfather received it and would continue to follow the firstborn tradition. Your children would still carry your bloodline even though the last name may change. Just a note though, running out and crying wasn't the best response, but I understand that your expectation of receiving it was quite high due to you not realizing how sexist your father really is. So I feel you felt blindsided and didn't react well to it, which he is now using as an additional excuse as to why he didn't give you the watch. NTA. You might have appeared ungrateful for the present, but it was triggered by your father being a misogynistic dinosaur. There was plenty of time to have a conversation with you beforehand if he was worried. Unleashing betrayal on you at the table was never going to go well. Besides which, is your kid not going to be family in his eyes? WTF. My wife received a rotary watch from her grandfather when he died, and it never crossed anybody's mind to say it was leaving the family just because she has my surname. She's got the entire rest of her life to live with it. And our daughters are 100% part of the same family as her granddad. When my first daughter was born, her granddad, now a great-granddad, was really sick. It was a miracle he was still holding on, really. He died about a day after learning that she'd been born and was healthy and well. He saw a photo of her but never got to meet her. I think that was enough for him. He just wanted to know she was here. The idea that someone would then intercept his legacy and stop his granddaughter getting it, on the grounds that his great-granddaughter is not his family, would have made him murderous with rage. It's an abominable way to think. While feminism and acceptance and inclusiveness have become a widespread subject, people apparently are still living in the Middle Ages. Your father is breaking tradition in favor of your brother. I would break with your father if I were you. It's understandable you walked out. But personally, I would have liked you to have remained utterly calm and collected. Partied on until the end, and then would have told your father you never ever wanted to see or hear from him again. NTA. I actually think what your father did was cruel. He knew the family tradition and he knew that you were expecting to get the family heirloom. That's why he gave the replacement watch. Doing this in a public without talking to you first puts pressure on you. Smile and accept it without causing a scene and allows your father to avoid a difficult conversation. Well, your honesty pretty much blew up that plan. His explanation that you're not really a member of the family is very offensive. I would be upset too. NTA for sure. NTA. From what I gather, it was not about the monetary value, but the feeling of disappointment from being passed over for a meaningful heirloom. I don't know. I got my grandmother's wedding ring because I am her daughter's daughter. I'm not the oldest, or the youngest, or the first female, or anything. I have older female cousins, but they are my grandma's son's daughters. People have weird traditions that make them pass things down. I think the only maybe thing here is that there was a complete lack of communication. If you have been talking to your father about this for a year, and he never brought up the whole firstborn son thing, that is poor communication. But you also assumed you got something without ever being told it was yours. Just because it's tradition doesn't mean your dad has to give it to anyone. It's his. He can be buried with it if he wanted to. No one has the right to his things without his permission. Leaving doesn't make you an awe. You were upset and needed space. And that's a healthy way to deal, without making a huge scene.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.